In recent decades, marine organisms have been known to get caught in all kinds of garbage that humans dump in the ocean. According to the environmental advocacy group Clean Water Action, 43% of marine mammal species alone have been impacted by plastic pollution. The images you see here are sightings of sperm whales swimming through the Great Pacific Garbage Patch for the very first time. In a brief explanation, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, also known as GPGP, is an ocean gyre that concentrates marine debris into one giant hub in the Pacific Ocean. This is hugely significant because this opens up a wide variety of new challenges and possibilities that this species must encounter as they swim through 80,000 tons of trash. Good afternoon. My name is Isabella Gilbert. The rising rate of plastic pollution that collects in the Pacific Ocean leads to the question, to what extent has plastic pollution in the Pacific affected the adaptation of sperm whales in the 21st century? And to this I claim that plastic pollution has negatively impacted sperm whale ability to adapt to their environment in the Pacific. Three main factors are affected as a direct result, which include sperm whale health, sperm whale migration patterns, and sperm whale population. To begin, sperm whale health is the first factor being affected by the issue of plastic pollution. Primarily what ends up happening is most sperm whales that come across floating pieces of garbage or plastic will mistake it for food and consume it, which causes them harm. The image on the left shows the stomach contents of a dead sperm whale found with pounds of garbage in its stomach, including rope, plastic, and fishing nets. The contents of these sperm whale stomachs speaks for themselves. It's showing exactly what happens to these whales when they try to ingest plastic. Plastic consumption is detrimental to their health, and they are not able to adapt to the plastic and consume it as they would with foods from their normal diet. The image on the right depicts examples of the kinds of plastic that sperm whales have been noted to consume. The second factor being affected would be sperm whale migration patterns. Typically, this species likes to travel toward the colder poles in the summer and towards the more tropical waters of the equator in the winter. On the way to their destinations, they cross through the large and vast Pacific Ocean. Shown here is a graph of the different levels of microplastic density in the South Pacific, with red being the highest density and gray being the lowest density. As sperm whales pass through these plastic-heavy areas, they might get slowed down, become sickly from ingesting plastic, and even change the course of their destination. In some cases, sperm whales can potentially get entangled in large pieces of plastic or floating fishing nets, which also alter their ability to stick to their migration routes. They may swim for long distances, dragging attached gear, potentially resulting in fatigue, compromised feeding ability, severe injury, and even death. What this all means is that these plastics are not in the ocean to help the adaptation of sperm whales. Rather, they are only there to hinder them and disturb their presence. The third factor being affected by plastic pollution would be sperm whale population. In the College Board provided TED Talk, Julia Watson described how the fish in Calcutta, India were able to adapt to the plastic pollution in the ponds that they resided in and were even able to make it their food source, benefiting both them and their environment. Unfortunately for sperm whales, consuming the plastic pollution in the ocean ultimately results in death and therefore the decline in their population. This image shows a sperm whale found with 13 pounds of plastic in its stomach, including 115 drinking cups, 25 plastic bags, plastic bottles, 2 flip-flops, and even a bag containing more than 1,000 pieces of string. This is just one example of the countless of sperm whales found dead in the same situation. This population decline is very significant because it further proves how sperm whales are unable to adapt to the plastic pollution, especially being how sperm whales are considered a vulnerable species, right next to the level of being an endangered species. So if this decline continues, their population levels will be detrimentally affected. A few proposed solutions to the issue of plastic pollution regarding sperm whales and even other species would be first to create a global effort to eliminate the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. If humans can unanimously agree to make an effort to remove pollution from the Pacific, the deaths of countless marine species could be prevented, resulting in a balanced ecosystem. This could potentially be done through This could potentially be done through the production of large-scale projects to remove surface-level plastic and trash. A second solution would be to create sustainable business approaches, such as the company 4Ocean, for example, which makes profit by selling jewelry made from plastic found in the ocean. Businesses could do the same and upcycle old materials to create something new and environmentally friendly. A third solution would be to have scientists continue to carefully monitor the amount of plastic in the ocean to track its continued effects it's had on marine species. The more knowledge scientists gain about how marine species function in conjunction to plastic, the more likely they are to find a solution to help these species, sperm whales included. The limitation to a global effort to eliminate the GPGP would be insufficient government funds. Sadly, the saying, "money makes the world go round," is a true statement nowadays. And without the money to fund these large-scale projects, it would be nearly impossible to get anything done. Same thing goes for insufficient research funds. The limitation to more sustainable business approaches would be more expensive products on the market, as sustainable business approaches tend to be more expensive due to raw materials. People tend to lean towards cheaper, unsustainable alternatives, which can eventually lead to the cycle of plastic pollution in the ocean happening all over again. Ultimately, it is up to us as a human race to wake up and take responsibility for the environmental damage we have caused in the world, and there is no better place to start than keeping our oceans clean. Thank you. Any questions?
Two questions. First up, how valid and reliable were the sources that you used, and then how do you know?
So, my sources were very reliable because I found them on academic research search engines such as EBSCO and Gale Pages.
All right, and explain how certain you are about the solutions that you came up with.
I'm pretty certain about the solutions that I came up with because as I was doing my research, the solutions in their researches were very similar to the ones that I created. So I just took a variety of all the research solutions that I had and combined it into one to create the 4 solutions that I had.
You are done.